Hi everyone, and welcome back to Cooking in Pink Boots. With Mardi Gras just around the corner, we have to be sure we're set and ready to go with a king cake, of course. But to be honest, I couldn't wait. Yes, the thought of that scent of cinnamon rolls filling the house and the taste of a warm, freshly baked king cake just melting in my mouth with all the buttery cinnamon flavors, I just couldn't help myself. So I decided I was going to come into 2023 with a New Year's king cake. But of course, we ate it all before I could make a video. But it's okay. I went ahead and made another one with Mardi Gras colors. Now, in this video, I'm making a king cake filled with a traditional butter and cinnamon filling combined with a cream cheese filling. And oh my gosh, is it delicious. But in this video, you will also see how to fill it, keeping it strictly traditional. Well, you simply just leave out the cream cheese, of course. But anyways, I will leave below in the description box all the ingredients and tips to today's recipe. And please be sure to like and subscribe to my channel. I'd appreciate that so very much. Thank you. All right, let's get started. For our cake dough, we'll need a half a cup of whole milk, 3 eggs at room temperature, a third of a cup of white granulated sugar, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, a half cup or 1 stick of unsalted butter, 1 pack of instant yeast, 3 cups plus 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, 3/4 of a teaspoon of fine sea salt, 1/4 of a teaspoon of nutmeg, and a half teaspoon of cinnamon. And if you decide not to use nutmeg for any reason whatsoever, just go with a full teaspoon of cinnamon. Now, moving on to the ingredients for our filling. Starting off with our traditional cinnamon butter filling, which is 3½ tablespoons of butter, a half cup of light brown sugar, and 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Now, if you're sticking to making just a traditionally filled king cake, you can skip the next 5 ingredients, but I'd give this one a shot. It's really good too. All right, and those ingredients are 1 8-ounce package of cream cheese at room temperature. You're going to want this to be really soft. 1 egg yolk, 1 tablespoon of sour cream, 3 tablespoons of powdered sugar, and 1 tablespoon plus 1 teaspoon of all-purpose flour. And for our icing topping, 1 1/4 cup of powdered sugar, 2 tablespoons of milk, and a half teaspoon of vanilla extract. Then finally, our colored sugars. Colors: green signifying faith, gold power, and purple justice. Isn't that beautiful? I absolutely love it. All right, now let's get cooking. And starting with my cake, I'm going to slice my 1 stick of unsalted butter into tablespoon-sized slices. Then microwave it for about 45 seconds if it's really cold like mine here. We just want it somewhat melted. Then adding to it my half cup of whole milk, and then placing it back into the microwave till it reaches a temperature between 110 and 115 degrees. Now adding in my 1 package of instant yeast and giving it a mix, getting that yeast all covered in the mixture. Now adding in my white granulated sugar measured at 1/3 cup, just mixing till dissolved. And for the eggs, you want to be sure they're at room temperature. We don't want to bring down the temperature of the mixture with cold eggs for the sake of our yeast. Now, crack them one at a time in a small ball just in case a shell gets in or you are surprised with a bad egg. I mean, why spoil the bunch, right? Okay, just pop those egg yolks and mix vigorously till your eggs are well incorporated. Then set to the side for about 5 to 10 minutes to let that yeast work. And while all that's happening, let's start preparing our dough's dry ingredients. Now, if using a stand mixer, just add these ingredients directly to your mixing bowl. But before you measure your flour, you always want to aerate it first, kind of like fluffing it out by simply giving it a stir, as seen on the video. Doing so will ensure you get the proper measurements because flour does tend to become more heavy and compact while stored, making your measurements more than what you wanted. And we don't want a dry cake. Okay, now measuring 3 cups plus 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour and adding it to the mixing bowl. Now adding 3/4 of a teaspoon of fine salt, a fourth of a teaspoon of nutmeg, and a half teaspoon of cinnamon. And remember, if you're not going to add nutmeg, go ahead and increase your cinnamon to 1 teaspoon. And yes, 1 teaspoon goes a long way. Now, just mix that all together, then form a little well in the center. And now let's take a look at that milk mixture. See how it's become somewhat foamy at the top or frothy? Well, that means the yeast is alive and doing its thing. Now, pour the mixture into the center of the well and attach your dough hook and set your speed to medium for 14 minutes, carefully scraping down the sides as needed for the first couple of minutes. Then just let it go till time's up. Now, you can certainly do this by hand as well, following all the steps leading up to the mixing. Just mix with a spoon or a spatula till a dough forms. Then knead the dough by hand for 8 minutes on a lightly floured surface. All right, now once your 14-minute timer goes off, your dough should be ready. And because a king cake is kind of like a cross between a cinnamon roll and a cake, the outcome of the dough will be soft and smooth and very rich. But regardless of its soft texture, it should not stick to your hands. So if you feel it's too sticky and loose, go ahead and add a tablespoon of flour at a time, mixing for an additional 2 minutes till your dough is ready. Now, just form your dough into a ball and place back into your mixing bowl and cover with saran wrap. Then set it in a warm area for an hour to rise, doubling in size. And in the meantime, I'm going to start on that cream cheese filling. Now, once again, if you're making a traditional filled king cake, skip this step. In a small bowl, I'm mashing down my softened cream cheese simply by using the back end of a spoon. Then adding in my egg yolk, getting that mixed in. Then 4 tablespoons of powdered sugar, 1 tablespoon of sour cream, and a tablespoon plus 1 teaspoon of all-purpose flour. Now just mixing up all those ingredients till everything is well combined. Now, you can always just clump this right over your dough using a spoon, but for me, piping it over makes it that much easier to get this filling evenly distributed throughout my cake. So, I'm taking a Ziploc bag and placing it into a cup as seen on the video, and easily filling it up like a very inexpensive pastry bag, and just setting that in the fridge for 30 minutes. Then setting on a cool area after 30 minutes, like a countertop, to reach a softer, more spreadable consistency, which by then the dough should be ready and doubled in size. Now look at that poof. This is such a beautiful dough. All right, now lightly flouring my pastry mat to make this a nice smooth process. Then punching out all that gas and transferring my dough onto the mat. This dough is super easy to work with. I'm just gently spreading it out with my hands. It's so soft and smooth. I seriously love this dough. Now, just stretching this dough out by hand to a size anywhere from 10 by 18 to 10 by 20, and using my rolling pin to gently roll it into a more even rectangular shape. But of course, because I'm recording a video, it's not going to happen today, but it's totally all right. You'll see what I mean. Now for the traditional filling, and you want to start preparing this after your dough is rolled out and ready to be filled. So the butter is still melted and the mixture is easily spreadable. And to a small bowl, I'm melting down 3.5 tablespoons of butter, then mixing in a half cup of light brown sugar and 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Now, if you choose to leave out the cream cheese filling and go strictly traditional, I'd increase my butter to 4 tablespoons and my light brown sugar to 3/4 of a cup, keeping my cinnamon to 2 teaspoons. Okay, now combine all those ingredients and simply spread it all over your dough, but leaving one long length side and both short end sides about a 1/2 inch free of any filling. That is our sealing ends, and it really will not seal properly with the filling all over it. All right, now let's snip the tip off that cream cheese goodness and spread it over your dough, remembering to leave those sides free of any filling. Now just spread it all over with a spatula as seen on the video. And now it's time to roll. All right, see here how I'm starting with the side with the filling to the edge and just rolling the dough from there as I would making a cinnamon roll. Now, as I get to the end, I'm just going to pinch the edges together to get a good tight seal. And now that my dough is nicely sealed like a cinnamon roll, I'm going to just mold it with my hands, getting a more evenly shaped log. And there we go. Okay, now preparing my pan by spraying it with a bit of non-stick cooking spray and placing a parchment paper on it. And I decided to go with a pizza pan. I mean, hey, it works. Now, carefully transferring my dough onto the pizza pan, seam side down, of course, and attaching the two ends of my log by pinching it together. Then gently forming my dough into shape. That, of course, was not perfect at all. But hey, what is, right? Okay, now placing a piece of parchment paper right over the top and placing this back into a warm area for about 35 to 45 minutes to rise again, doubling in size. And after 45 minutes, it should rise just like this. Now, I'm using my scissors to make some snips about 1.5 inches apart, and doing this will help to keep our cake from exploding while baking. And you will see it makes it look so much prettier when it comes out of the oven too. Now placing in my oven preheated to 350 degrees and baking it for about 27 to 30 minutes. And now, here it is. Would you look at that? And if you can just smell the entire house, oh my gosh, it smells delicious. All right, now some finishing touches like the icing. All right, mixing together 1 1/4 cup of powdered sugar to 2 tablespoons of whole milk and a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And once that gets nice and smooth and your cake is fairly cooled, spread it right over your cake. Now, I like to pour a little extra down the middle for personal dipping purposes. But be sure to get a white spread over the top where we are going to finish it off with our Mardi Gras colored sugar, gold, green, and purple. And now I think it's safe to say we're ready for Mardi Gras with our sweet cinnamon spiced king cake. So buttery and moist, you and the family are going to love it. And what a shame I didn't put in a plastic baby, because I love to be the one to find it. Not only for the whole luck and prosperity behind the tradition, nor the king or queen for the day, but also because I want another reason to make it all over again. Well, thank you all so much for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed today's video. And please give it a try. And when you do, you know what to do. Enjoy. Bye. And please don't forget to like and subscribe for more upcoming food adventures with me, Charlene, from right here in my kitchen, where every day I'm cooking in pink boots. With her, of course. Bye.